Hi, and welcome back to Walker Tea Review. I'm Jason Walker. We're looking at a tea that is a familiar presence in the Western world as far as historically, because this was one of the teas that was easy to get out of China, easier to get out of China, and would last during the long trips west. This is a gunpowder tea. Just a pinch more, that's good. Or pearl tea, as it may often be called in Chinese. We're going to go ahead and get this one started up. Yes, as we said before, the days of the airplane and the vacuum sealed package, a green tea like this was the kind that could get out of China and last. So this is the tea that was often used for like your Moroccan mint tea. This was the base for that traditionally. Let's go ahead and get this one going. There we are. Get that little pearl to drop down in the water so that it releases its flavor and its goodness. So what we have is from Teas Etc. As we said, this is a gunpowder. Particularly, this one's described as a pinhead gunpowder, and that is to describe the size of the leaf. Again, these are and the Chinese name indicates by using the word pearl, these are rounded ball shape, rolled differently. You can tell by looking that the rolling style is not the same as a oolong, but it is rolled into a ball shape, hence the idea that it looks like something that would come out of a musket, and the name, why we give a name like gunpowder, also because of a smoky element and the darkness to it. Now, one of the things that we note, actually I'm gonna do that. I want it to be quite light. So I'm going to go ahead and pour as we talk more. Teas Etc. offers this gunpowder for $3.95 for 1 ounce. Okay. Originally, this particular tea was from, or is from Anhui Province. And things we want to note about how to recognize or the scale of higher quality versus lower quality gunpowder. As we said, a lot of your gunpowders are more affordable, but you still want to be able to choose the kind that you prefer within that range. There are teas that are greener. Actually, this one I would say is a greener color gunpowder, and that indicates that it was using a greener, more mature, or sorry, less mature, more tender leaf. So it's going to have more of a kind of a vegetable, more of a green tea smell. And this one does have more of a, yes, more of a kind of a cream spinach note to it. Now, so that's further on one end of the scale. On the other end of the scale, there were those that used more mature leaves that lacked the flavor profile of a younger leaf. So to compensate for that, what was often used was a stronger smoky element. So that these teas, during long travel periods, they would still survive the process, and if there was any issue, if there were any weaknesses in the tea, the smoky element often covered up the weakness of the leaf. So to note also how that would carry out into our cup, again, the greener leaves often resulted in a more yellow colored, while this smokier aspect resulted more in a browner tinge to the liquid. Okay, so that gives us an idea of what we're going to be looking for, how we're going to be looking at this on the range of gunpowders. We have our steeping cup, and I'm going to go ahead and turn that over before I forget, so that we can let some of that tea come out and talk about that. Again, we talked about the shape of a pill size pearl rounded shape. We talked about especially the vegetable element of this particular pinhead gunpowder. We talked about our wet leaf here. These leaves, although they're round, rolled, they do open up. They've opened up fully. Lots of a bright or emerald green color here. And yes, the smoky element is insignificant compared to the sweet green vegetable elements, the spinach notes coming out of this one. So that's the sign to show that these were probably a higher quality leaf than some of the other gunpowders you're going to be looking at. And again, that carries over into our aroma in the cup as well. Let's go ahead and give this one a try. Before I do, it would be a good idea to give you, as a kind of point of reference, colors. We've got a nice golden or yellow lighter color compared to some of our others. This is a lighter colored gunpowder, consistent with what we thought we would see from this particular gunpowder. So let's go ahead and give this one a try now. The way this one's steeped, it does allow some of the sweetness to come out. The shorter the steeping time with this one, you have to find that balance between the level of bitterness that you say prefer or accept versus the amount of flavor that you really want to unlock. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move to the larger cup just because I want to get a sense of how the temperature affects the difference in taste. Actually, this one seemed to, of course, this one contained a little more flavor as I came from the bottom of the cup and had more close contact with the leaves there. So this one brought out more of the aroma, which is still a green tea element. It also brought out a little bit more of the bitterness, and the stringency, which we expect from a gunpowder. That's part of its profile. This one is very light on the smoky, woody fire element to it. So this one means it's got more gentle notes to it. Okay, it's a more delicate tea. So to kind of pull all this together, this one gets a 91 for its score. We would like to have been able to bring out that profile while diminishing the role of that bitterness to it, but still high quality. It does have a bit of the body has a bit of a smoothness or a creaminess to it that lends itself towards an enjoyable cup of tea for, as we said, a very attainable or reachable price. I'm Jason Walker. We just looked at Teas Etc. Gunpowder tea, and this is Walker Tea Review.